So I saw this article and I'm like, all right, this is the first local outrage I've seen about steel toe. It's interesting to me because we see St. Cloud through Aaron. There's not many other windows that we have into that town.
MN Vikings with 199 says, saw you on WJON for good reasons this time.
A former St. Cloud radio host might not be headed to trial for felony and gross misdemeanor non-consensual dissemination of private sexual images. Aaron Imholte, former Rockin' 101 morning show host, hinted at a potential deal during a recent online broadcast. Imholte is alleged to have disseminated private sexual images during an online broadcast of his morning show on May 27, 2024. The criminal complaint states that Imholte sent a text message during his show to a guest and then asked the guest to check their phone. The guest then commented that they, quote, "like tattoos more than I thought," end quote. The below quote is taken in part from YouTube's transcription service.
The former St. Cloud radio host may not be headed for trial. The guy who reported this is I think, operations manager or program director over at Town Square Media here in town. Paul Shay, also a classmate of mine. I graduated high school with Paul. One of our mutual friends is like one of our best pals. I like him. I don't know if he likes me.
So I wanted to reach out to this guy, and I'm like, I reached out to Paul. I didn't know he was the host of a radio show or anything like that.
People don't remember, Paul's the guy who wrote the article that Aaron went to high school with.
Paul Shay.
Graduated high school with Paul Shay.
So I reached out to him, and I'm like, hey, I do a show along with a few other guys. It gets over 1,000 viewers like every week. We talk
Someone's doing well.
Right.
Button.
Okay, so here is email number 1 I received.
Mahmood, which is what people call you when they know
Yes.
you. Thanks for reaching out. Aaron and I didn't overlap at Brown, but we are both graduates of Brown College, formerly Brown Institute, was the school that people went to when they wanted to get into the broadcast industry in the upper Midwest. Aaron and I did attend high school together and both graduated Irondale High School in 2005. Go Cougars. I don't know. I subsequently now happen to work in the same market where he lives. I am not socially or personally engaged with Aaron. The last time I saw him in person was at a mutual friend's wedding and subsequent reception, where we sat together at the same table along with other mutual friends. We did not speak at this function outside of a quick hello. He spent most of the reception dinner talking about how he writes everything off on his taxes. He then texted me about a job possibility. I don't believe I replied, and I subsequently blocked his number. I can imagine Aaron. Yeah.
Just to put the date on this through like the conversations I had with Paul later, this was early September 2023.
So are we supposed to talk about Steel Toes return to radio? Huh? This is the best fucking part. Now we know Paul Shay is the director of content or whatever at
Creative
Town
director.
Square Media, creative director, Town Square Media, 6 station.
Paul Shay, also a classmate of mine. I graduated high school with Paul.
Many people in my building currently also worked here when Aaron was on the air at WHMH, and he made their lives really difficult. Just like in other instances in the past, he actively sought out his audience to call and harass the on-air talent here, as well as encourage them to post obscene pictures and comments on our station's social media pages.
So he was trying to do the past Jocktober thing.
Right.
And so he was actively fucking with his competition, who he's now trying to get hired.
He has pissed off so many people
Yes.
in local radio.
I mean,
And he's
guys,
still running around pounding his chest saying everybody wants to tow.
right. And we glossed over this, but here's a guy who knows Aaron. He's in the radio business. He knows Aaron from his radio show. He went to high school with him. And Aaron follows up with a text and he blocks him. What does that tell you right there? Like, I never block anyone on my phone. And the fact that he's just like, some guy's like, hey, man, so it's good to see you at the wedding. Hey, I would love to talk to you about job opportunities. Like, no, fuck this. Block.
I don't know if he likes me.
I wrote the story post more as an update, as I had heard that he was talking about a deal. And looking at his court calendar, I didn't see any updates. Same thing we've all said. Like, this is Aaron spin and bullshit. First, it was an offer. Now they're waiting to finalize details. Then he's like, I can't tell you why I think this is over soon. Which is it? I didn't see any updates, so I was hoping to force someone's hand to prove it. If you were offered a deal in this case, like he stated online, wouldn't you just take it and not wait around? Same thing we've said. This guy's not on his side. This is not a positive article.
No.
They hate you.
Aaron said that this guy did a great job and Fox 9 was paid off by Nick, but this is the good coverage.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, this is the great stuff coming up. As an individual who works for a large corporation, Town Square Media, and as someone who oversees 6 stations in my market as director of content, I don't think it would reflect well if I talked about Aaron. So this is him saying, I don't want to come on the show.
Right.
I have my own show. We're kicking ass. We're number one. We don't need to
understood.
Respect that.
Yes. Yes. Personally, his actions over the last 5 to 6 years have disgusted me as someone who is a human being, but also someone who makes a living as a broadcaster. So professionally and personally, they find you disgusting.
This guy hosts the number one morning show in the market. We just
in the market. Yes. You don't do the stuff that he does and keep a job anywhere. Even Howard O&A learned that lesson. Aaron isn't Howard, Opie, or Anthony, but he wants to be, hence the reference.
Yep.
I do watch the program. This Little Piggy, as do several of us in the building.
Hi, guys.
Enjoy most of the insights that you, Big Sauce, and Carl bring to the table in discussing Imholte. In the radio station building, the employees of what you claim to be talking to and going back to watch This Little Piggy. They watch us dunk on you every week while you tell your audience that you're going back to radio and you're talking to all these people. You liar.
They're also writing up an offer letter, though. You got to understand, like, it's Friday at 4.
This Little Piggy. They're watching This Little Piggy in Minnesota. The number one host of radio in St. Cloud is a fan of the show that makes fun of you.
I don't know if he likes me.
I didn't mention This Little Piggy in the email that I sent to him.
You did not.
I didn't mention Patrick or Carl or Tukey. He said
Big Sauce.
He watches the show enough to know you're called Big Sauce.
Yes, you don't call me Big Sauce on this show. That's an NLO thing. They watch content that clowns on you, dog.
If this trial goes ahead, you have us on your show in the morning. Like we're we're gonna
we'll all be in-person guests.
And then you went back and forth with this guy, and this guy's like, if you guys ever come to St. Cloud, let's get together.
There's a second email. Do you want to see?
Yes.
All right. So this email is it's the whole email shows up. I can't scroll, but
this is a positive news. I'm in the media. Moody, feel free to use this email, but please omit the tax reference as it's not a hard quote. Yeah, we know that. I don't need to be anonymous. It should be clear that Aaron and I don't deserve that I don't desire to have any personal or professional contact with him.
Jeez.
The worst, by the way, he sent screenshots of Aaron like, hey, we should work together.
Yes.
He doesn't answer. He doesn't answer
So
you.
he blocked him on his phone, so then Aaron tried to like message him through Facebook or something. He keeps trying.
And he just doesn't answer. It's Aaron like, should we talk about Steel Toes return to radio? So are we supposed to talk about Steel Toes return to radio? Ghosted. Nothing. They want, and this was 2023. This was before any legal troubles or divorce or any of that stuff. They don't want anything to do with you. I missed the date at the beginning of this. It's June 20th, 2015.
right. So Paul said, look, I know you guys. I watch This Little Piggy. I watch NLO. I know what play a clip means. So I want to play my clip. So he sent me this screenshot.
Nice.
He says, this is my entire conversation history with Aaron on Facebook Messenger. Because at this point, he has Aaron blocked on his cell phone. In 2015, Paul wasn't living in St. Cloud, but he was considering a move there. And since him and Aaron
was on the radio.
Aaron was on the radio in his prime, 2015. And so he was feeling out the area, wanting to see who's hiring, what's the lowdown there. So he sent him a message, 2015. Hiring up in St. Cloud, normal message to send. Like, if you know someone in a market. And Aaron gives him his feedback.
Sorry, go ahead.
But like, this is a normal conversation that you have with like an acquaintance that you have if you're reaching out and you come from the same place and you're going there.
And by the way, so Aaron says, not great gigs, sales mostly. And this is what we said about Aaron from the beginning. Aaron's never really had a true radio job. He sells ads, and that affords him the luxury of talking in between ads. It's like how women view the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Oh, is there a game on? I just watch for the ad.
Yep.
Not great gigs, sales mostly, but sending on-air stuff with it may not be a terrible idea. Lots of stuff to be sold. Wide open market, but cheap management up front. Same as it is now. That's why he's offering to work for free. If you want me to get you a meeting, I can, but don't let them lowball you. I read this as different. And then Paul says, I'll think about the move and let you know. Thanks. If I know Aaron the way I know Aaron, he's insecure. And he doesn't want to, he would never help anyone. He'll throw you under the bus. I would never ask Aaron for a favor, like use Aaron's name to get hired somewhere or a job. Paul didn't know any better back then, probably. But if you want me to get you a meeting, I can't. I can imagine Aaron going to his boss and being like, there's this guy from like, he's an old friend from high school. I told him I'd do him a favor and talk to him. And then on the other side, he's telling Paul, like, don't let him lowball you. He's admitting management's cheap and there's not much money. But he's telling Paul, don't let him lowball you. He don't want Paul coming into his market.
At this wedding, which Paul discussed earlier, this is around the time, September 2023, when Aaron was saying, I'm going to be back on the radio soon. I've made some good contacts, all of that. This is the message that we get from Aaron.
So are we supposed to talk about Steel Toes return to radio? Huh?
That's it.
Huh?
This is how Aaron thinks reaching out to people and like contacts in the radio is like.
Yep.
This is his network.
And he'll brag about this comment for weeks. Like, I'm talking to people.
Yep.
I'm talking to people. We're in talks. And in July of 2023, he told people he was in talks with radio, and by Labor Day that they would have a big announcement. So this shows that closer to Labor Day, he still had nothing on his hook. There was nothing going on.
So this is September 2nd at 11:37 p.m.
When he's telling his audience, I'm talking to people in the biz, this is what it is.
Yep.
Like it's not what we think of when we say I'm in talks with someone.
Yeah, you'd think like an actual meeting, a back and forth, a conversation.
I can attest the correspondences I've seen, and it's none of your business how.
The message to send here, if we're going to do a retrospective learning lessons for Aaron, the message to send here, hey, Paul, was great to see you at the wedding. We haven't caught up in a long time. Do you want to catch up for lunch sometime next week?
Right.
Would love to meet you and see what we've been up to over the last few years. And then there you feel it out and you see whether or not he's open to talking about this.
I think we should do business together.